How's it going, everyone? It's Harvey from Weather Sponge 5000, and today we're going to focus on, of course, this extreme tornado outbreak that's happening right now through central and northern Texas and will continue to move eastward over the next couple of hours. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like sale, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the current radar right now and the watches and warnings issued. And of course, we do have several severe thunderstorm warnings issued along this squall line extending from the San Antonio area as far north as the border of Texas and Oklahoma. And as of right now, actually, Dallas is under a tornado warning, so you guys need to take cover right now as a tornado, as a risk of a tornado in your area is very imminent, and we do have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings issued just south of this tornado warning issued in Dallas, and we even see some tornadoes warnings issued just south of Dallas as well. So in these areas you need to take cover, and in fact there has been a tornado spotted embedded in one of these tornado warnings, so you need to take cover right now because the threat of a tornado is very high at this point. So if you were to take a look further northward, you see that no severe thunderstorm warnings are issued further northward because there isn't enough unstable air that far up northward to have enough lift for major severe weather threat to occur. But you see that throughout Texas, we are seeing a multitude of tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings, and this is expected to move further eastward along with this instability. So in Louisiana and in eastern Texas, you need to watch out for a tornado threat that could happen as early as tonight. So let me show you guys the current temperatures throughout the United States, and it gives a good idea on why there is a major tornado outbreak that's going on right now. And it's because we're seeing just a strong amount of instability right around the southern portion of the Midwest, because you see that throughout Texas, central to southern Texas, you see that temperatures are in the 80s. We're even seeing temperatures peak out around the 90s in the extreme southern portion of Texas. But go only a few hundred miles to the northwest, which may sound like a lot, but really it isn't. You see that the temperatures drop down to the 30s, and we even see sub-freezing temperatures right around Colorado and the northern portion of New Mexico and the extreme northern portion of Texas. And when we see this much unstable air in this region, it's just asking for an extreme severe weather threat to occur, because the pressure is going to be very low along the surface for a high amount of damaging winds to occur embedded in a lot of these thunderstorms, where the downdrafts will want to filter in to the area where the pressure is low, and that's embedded within the thunderstorm. So as a result, we're seeing extremely impactful damaging wind and tornado threat, as well as large hail, as a result of how much convective available potential energy there is right around the southern portion of the Midwest. Though if I were to show you guys what the computer models are stating at this time, it expects this severe weather threat to move further eastward. So this is how the severe weather threat looks right now. And if we were to take a look at the winds in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, look at the stark contrast when it comes to the wind direction. You see that along the surface, winds are primarily coming from the south, but if you head further and further into the upper levels of the atmosphere, you see the wind direction shifts from more of a westerly direction. And when we see a stark difference when it comes to wind direction with height, that's what creates wind shear, and that wind shear allows for a high risk of a tornado threat to occur within this area. So as a result of this stark change in wind direction, tornado threat is likely throughout Texas, as I'll say more likely than not. If in some areas, if you're within a 50 miles radius, you will experience a tornado in Texas, right around central to eastern Texas. So you need to prepare in Texas in case a tornado does come in close proximity to your area. Make sure to take cover, go to the lowest floor of your household, and make sure to just stay indoors during a severe weather, during a severe thunderstorm, or during a tornado warning. So you see that the pressure of this low is right around 997 millibars, not insanely powerful, but we are seeing just enough instability for an extreme severe weather threat to occur. And as we head further and further into the evening hours, you see the thunderstorms will eventually extend towards Arkansas, and we could see these thunderstorms linger over the same area for several hours, which will lead to an extreme rain threat, as well as an extreme flash flood threat is certainly possible embedded in one of these thunderstorms, because of course when so much rain falls at a very fast rate, it's just asking for a major flash flood threat to occur. And you don't necessarily need a ton of total rainfall accumulation for a major flash flood threat to occur. So make sure to keep that in mind throughout Texas and Arkansas in case a flash flood warning is issued for your area, which the probability is definitely higher than what you'd expect. Now, as we head further and further into Tuesday, you see the thunderstorms will eventually move towards Louisiana, will eventually move towards Mississippi, and this will be just as severe, if not more severe, than what the severe thunderstorms you're experiencing right now in Texas, because the cold air behind this warm air mass that's bringing a southerly flow further northward, bringing that warm Gulf of Mexico air further northward. As they interact, we're still going to see an extreme severe weather threat as this heads further eastward. Taking a look at how the winds look like in the upper levels of the atmosphere compared to the surface level winds, look at how stark the contrast is. It's extremely worrying, because you see that the wind direction is not only changes with height, but it changes in an insanely drastic way, where you see that in the lower levels of the atmosphere, right along the surface, winds are primarily coming from the northwest. But if you were to take a look at the mid levels of the atmosphere, they're primarily coming from the south. But taking a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere, the winds are primarily coming from the southwest. When we see a stark change in wind direction with height this much, major tornado outbreak is likely throughout Mississippi and Alabama, and extending through Louisiana as well. And of course, heavy rain will be the issue as well. And then this low will eventually move further eastward, and I'd say the severe weather threat will certainly subside as it heads, I'd say, just east of Montgomery, Alabama. That's where the unstable air should settle. That's when the air should become a little bit more stable as this heads further eastward. But there's still a moderate chance, I'd say, of severe weather along Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida. But I'd say the tornado threat will definitely subside, as the threat will primarily be limited towards isolated tornadoes and severe thunderstorms, where the main threat will be damaging winds. But I'd say anywhere west of Alabama, between, of course, Dallas, Texas, and Alabama, this is where the tornado threat should be extreme. So you need to pay close attention to that. Now, taking a look at the convective available potential energy levels throughout the southeast, because it is very important. You see that convective available potential energy levels will be very high throughout Texas today, which will mean that the cloud tops will be at a very high altitude for a major hail threat to occur, because of course what causes hail is just what is an extremely strong updraft that forces a lot of that precipitation to move into the higher levels of the atmosphere and the colder levels of the atmosphere. And of course that precipitable water freezes, and that's what causes hail embedded in one of these thunderstorms, just a very strong updraft. And we're going to see that with convective available potential energy levels peaking close to 2,000 joules per kilogram. So that's certainly going to cause a major hail threat. And of course, tornadoes will be the issue as a result of a strong updraft. And we're going to see it continue into Louisiana and New Orleans, where convective available potential energy levels will be high and peak out over 2,000 joules per kilogram. So it's definitely something you're going to need to keep in mind throughout the southeast as a severe weather threat, and it is going to be very likely. And also taking a look at the wind shear, because the wind shear is also another important factor when determining how powerful a tornado threat will be. If we were to take a look at the wind shear, you see that there's a decent amount right now throughout central Texas, just enough to where it's causing a major tornado threat. It does increase as this low pressure heads further eastward, and you see that we continue to see just very strong wind shear in the mid levels of the atmosphere for a major tornado threat to occur. So make sure to keep that in mind throughout the southeast. Now, I'm taking a look at the future radar to show you guys when to expect the worst of the severe weather in your specific location. So I'd say the thunderstorm should move just to the east of Dallas, Texas, right around the 9 p.m. time frame. And then we should Eastern Standard Time, so around 8 p.m. Central Time. And then we should see the thunderstorms eventually approach Arkansas, I'd say right around midnight into the overnight hours. And this should approach Houston, I'd say right around Tuesday morning, very early Tuesday morning. And I'd say this will approach Louisiana right around midday on Tuesday, and New Orleans, you should expect impacts right around Tuesday night. Mississippi, Tuesday afternoon should be the worst of the severe weather, and northern Louisiana should primarily be midday on Tuesday. And then you see that thunderstorms will eventually move into Alabama, I'd say very late on Tuesday into the very early overnight hours on Wednesday. So make sure to keep that in mind when it comes to timing, that these thunderstorms will move further eastward at a very fast clip. Now, let me show you guys the forecasted rainfall, because that's another major threat associated with this severe weather threat. You see that anywhere between the border of Louisiana and Arkansas, you are expected to receive over 5 inches of rain. So this should be equivalent to 5 to 8 inches, and this is certainly capable of producing a major flash flood threat in this area, as well as river flooding, because 5 to 8 inches of rain is something you don't want to underestimate. And you see that even outside of this orange area, you see that a good area of 3 to 5 inches of rain is expected throughout Mississippi, extending the northern Louisiana and the eastern portion of Texas as well. So make sure to keep that in mind when it comes to the heavy rain threat. And in terms of where you should expect the worst of severe weather, if you're within the pink, this extends from central Louisiana to eastern Texas to Mississippi and Alabama. In the extreme severe weather area, this is where you should expect the highest likelihood of a tornado, as I do expect a significant tornado threat in this area. Damaging winds, large hail will be the issue. Major severe weather threat will also get involved with large hail, damaging winds, and also a high likelihood of a tornado within a 50-mile radius. Moderate severe weather further eastward, as it does seem like there's going to be enough lift in the atmosphere anywhere east of Alabama for a major severe weather to occur, and minor just outside of it. So I emphasize throughout the southeast, make sure to prepare for an extreme severe weather threat, as a major tornado threat is likely in these areas. So I hope you guys stay safe and take precaution. But anyways, guys, I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content, and I hope you guys all have a great day.